Hi, this is Mike,
And this is Fran.
and this is Mike and Fran Unrehearsed, episode 14. Hey, you're listening to Real Life Internet Radio, the Mike and Fran show on Wednesdays at noon on 216 The Net. So glad to have you here today. I want to remind you guys to send in your questions and comments to our new email. That's mikeandfranradio@gmail.com. And as always, if you're looking for a realtor, looking to move, looking to sell, or know somebody that's interested, please give me a call. That's 847-903-8061. I work with a local Keller Williams office. We have agents all over that can help you guys out. If I can't, I'll find someone that you'll like and will know the area and will be able to help you out with all your real estate needs. Thank you. Thank you so much. And also, I want to mention my friend Joe the plumber. When you got to go, call Joe, and he'll give you a free estimate. He'll estimate what you guys need to get done, whether he can do it or somebody else would need to do it. He's the guy that will get you started on all of your plumbing needs. If you got to go, call Joe. And please text Mike and Fran to 773-732-8153. Thanks so much. Hey, you guys liking this change in weather out here? I haven't seen any photos yet, but I've got some that I'm going to be posting really soon. It's just beautiful out there. And guess what? Halloween is just in a couple weeks. Let's hope that everybody will have some kind of a new plan for Halloween during the COVID-19 kind of deal. But I think we'll get by. Just do the right thing, folks. Stay home as much as you can, right? If you do go out, wear a mask, wear those gloves once in a while, wash frequently. And if you have folks over at your home, just keep it to a minimal. Kind of the regular folks that you see all the time, because that's where I'm hearing that people are having a lot of problems now, is having too many people over and just kind of, not paying attention to the rules that have been in place for a little while. So wear a mask, keep your distance, be respectful, wear gloves every once in a while if you really want to, and wash your hands frequently, and I think you guys will be okay. Right, Mom?
Just be careful.
That's right. Just be careful. Just be extra special careful, because
I have to.
we're in another wave here, apparently, is what they're saying. But you know
Right.
what? Illinois has been doing great. You look at those maps, and everybody else is a state that you have to be quarantined from once you go there for 14 days. But guess what? Not Illinois. So we're doing something right, but we got to keep doing it. All right, folks? Thanks so much. I want you all to be safe and be healthy out there. Do the right thing. We could all get through this. Right, Mom?
Yes.
So, Mom, how are you doing?
Well, I sort of have all the symptoms of having a virus if you called them into the doctor, with the runny nose and the eyes that are
Yeah.
burning and tearing and the cough. So, therefore, I am having a Zoom conference on Monday with the doctor because they do not want you to come into the office.
Yeah, that's right. So Mom's had a little bit of congestion in there, nothing real serious, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt that
Like an
doesn't go away
allergy.
on its own. Yeah, like an allergy, but you got to do something about it, because taking cough medicine is not going to take care of it. So we called the doctor Thursday, Friday, tried to get in there, and they said, "Oh, cold, runny nose. No, probably not a good idea." I go, "Okay, so what are our options?" So they set up a Zoom meeting for us with the doctor, and that'll be on Monday. So Monday we'll get to do that with our general practitioner, who's an awesome lady, Dr. Sashi Sagal, over there at Amita, and we'll get that taken care of, right, Mom?
Yes.
All right.
Hopefully.
Okay, Mom. So here's a really good question for you. If you could travel back in time in a time machine, what period of time would you visit and why? And what period of time would you avoid and why? Wow, that's a pretty good question, huh?
Well, indeed. This question is more than food for thought. It took me several days to come up with a list of places that I might consider to go. One of them would be the Lewis and Clark Exposition
Oh, yeah.
that they took in 1804 to 1806 under the request of President Jefferson. They left at Wood River, Illinois. There is a trail that goes to the mouth of the Columbia River between Washington
So that's the
State
official,
and Oregon
the
State.
official
Lewis and
Lewis and Clark
Yeah.
expedition started in Illinois. That's what you're saying? And then it went all
That's
the way out
where
there
the- yeah,
to
where
the
it-
Columbia River
yes.
in Oregon. Wow, and how many miles was that?
Well, it says 3,700 is
Wow.
that trail.
Okay.
But I found it interesting because, well, I love Indians. The Sacagawea, the Indian lady, they worked with them. I have been to Fort Clatsop in Oregon on the mouth of the Columbia, which is a replica of the original fort.
I think we all went there, didn't we?
I think you might have.
There's a big,
Yeah.
like a totem pole
Yes.
there?
No, well, that's Astoria. I
Oh.
don't think you went to the fort. I think I went there.
Where did I
another
go?
time. You went out to Astoria on the mouth of the Columbia.
But wasn't that
But that wasn't the regular replica
a
of
monument
the fort.
set up for Lewis and Clark, though?
No, that was just, no, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Call me crazy.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
All I know is I went to the fort. I don't think you were with me when we
Okay.
went to the fort.
Okay.
But it was a peaceful organization trip with good men Indians, not troublesome, and they were looking for a waterway passage through
That's
the
right.
Pacific.
That's right.
Secondly, well, I could not but think of 1492 with Christopher Columbus. How exciting to be on a Nina Pinta or the Santa Maria and find the islands in the little Caribbean there, and then eventually the big mainland of the United States
Right,
now,
right.
the Americas. I am going to put aside the cruelty that he had to the Indians, but they were looking for China, a route across, and they discovered that landmass, continent, and they didn't know it was there.
Well, they discovered it by accident, really.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the travel was not great when you think of traveling on a ship, with the bathrooms and the dirty and the hygiene, the facilities. It would have been a tough thing to be on one of those ships.
Right.
But how exciting to discover like a new continent. Next, I have to go back to Marco Polo, and this is way back. Marco Polo came from a family, his father and his uncle, a Venetian, and they decided that they wanted to find a new Silk Route or go on the Silk Route to China.
Well, wait, wasn't it his father and his uncle that knew about the route and told Marco Polo about it, and then he went with them?
Yeah, they went together, and
And who did they meet?
the Kublai Khan in
That's
1269, they met him. Well, when he met Kublai Khan, he liked them very much. But going into China, they were one of the first peoples in China. But imagine going through Mongolia and all of those interesting countries.
Oh, yeah. So, Ma, what was it about the Silk Trail that intrigued you with Marco Polo?
It's going through exotic lands
Oh,
with
yeah.
all these different people.
That's right. We saw I think there was a Netflix program, Marco Polo, that
Yes,
that
Adventures of Marco
and
Polo.
it was really awesome.
Yes.
It really showed us a lot of riches and things that came out of the Silk Road that Marco Polo sort of made famous, right?
One other thing, I would have liked to have been on the first ship that went through the Panama Canal.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that was a pretty big deal, the Isthmus of Panama, and it was started first by France and then discontinued as too much money and too much fever. They had the yellow fever, too many people dying, and they had a lot of Chinese working on it at that time. The USA took over in 1904, and in 1914 finished it. The first ship to go across was a USS Ancon. It was American, and it was a passenger cargo ship.
Uh-huh.
And it took so much shorter time. Before that, they had to go around the Cape Horn,
Right.
and then
Right.
or go up through the northern Arctic. And it saved so
right.
much time.
I heard one thing when I was looking at the dates on that. Panama Canal is the only place you can see the sunrise and the sunset over
At two different times.
Over the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
So think about it. If you're all the way down there and you're looking at the sunrise over the Atlantic and you're looking at the sunset
Yeah.
over the Pacific, it's the only place you can
Yeah.
do that. Think about it because it's right between the two oceans. Okay. All right. Sorry.
Now, these would be the main spots. I also think it would have been interesting to be in Rome when Cleopatra came in.
Oh yeah.
To meet the people dressed like Elizabeth Taylor looked like in her movie, because the real queen, Cleopatra was a sexy-looking person, but she wasn't that beautiful by the standards of today.
That's what I've heard.
And I would get
I
it
don't
mixed
know.
up with the movie, but that would be a big turn to see this different looking with the big headdress and the kohl makeup on the eyes of Cleopatra.
Then I would have liked to have been around with Michelangelo and Leonardo.
Leonardo da Vinci?
Leonardo da Vinci.
Aha.
Exactly.
Because he was like an engineer.
Because that guy was just in everything. He was like the first ever Renaissance man, I think,
Yep.
of the entire world, because he
Yep.
had all of these different interests: an engineer, and art, and culture, and just to be maybe his apprentice or something during that time, I think would have been something pretty awesome. So what else, Mom?
Well, I would say, I already said about going with Lewis and Clark, but I think Michael had talked about going with his great-grandfather, Andrew Jackson Babb.
Yeah. So Mom loves the westerns. We watch the westerns together.
Well, my grandfather, Andrew Jackson Babb,
Yeah.
left about 1850 from Kentucky and took the wagon train out, the big Conestoga, and over Immigration Pass and into Eugene.
Yeah.
And he was one of the first lawyers, teachers, people to own property, and went to a gold mine rush, went back
Gold
to
rush.
England.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is it would have been pretty awesome to be on that Oregon Trail going out there during that time and, just kind of roughing it and trying to get out there with the group of people that we're with. And then being part of the gold rush out there, I think that would have been pretty interesting. And meeting new people and settling new cities and little
Early pioneer.
early pioneers and all the things and all the struggles they had to do to make it work and have a big chunk of land and a farm
Yeah,
and a family
yes.
and all that fun stuff. I think that would have been really cool time to be around.
We had a big black pot that was used out on the campfire that came over with the wagon that in our family that we gave to the University of Oregon Museum
Oh,
to
you
keep
did?
from the pioneers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that his, Andrew Jackson?
It was
Babb,
from-
maybe?
yeah,
from
yeah,
that
from
time period
that we had.
1850s,
Yes,
around there
yeah.
somewhere. Okay, now that would have been cool.
Now, places I thought I wanted to see, like I'm in love with the Vikings. I love the Viking
yeah.
series and that.
Yeah, we watched
but-
that series.
But I wouldn't want to be
Uh,
with them because basically they were marauders and killed so many people.
yeah,
So that's one place I wouldn't.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to be at Nagasaki, Hiroshima, when the atomic bomb was dropped.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
That was one of the most horrible times in history.
No.
Dropping an atomic bomb and killing so many people.
Right.
And I would not want to go back anywhere in the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages was full of disease and the poor
with ya.
conditions.
I'm with you on that.
Hygiene, women, people, children. It was not a...
The plague, all that stuff.
That's
Yeah,
right. It was not a delightful place to live. Now, that question made you really think. It took me 2 or 3 days to go back. I have weeded out so many things, and these things, this is a result after
Yeah.
much going over in your mind, because that is a kind of a deep question.
Right. Well, I was thinking about that question a little bit differently initially, but I mean, I guess I could be sort of selfish in a way and want to go back to like the retro period of the 50s because I just
Yeah.
thought it was cool and it was like a new generation being born of this new modern age, and it really wasn't that modern, but to them it was, and it was like, this new space age kind of thing is how I remember it, going into the 60s there and going to the moon and doing all these crazy things we thought we would never do, and the little style of the homes and the little black and white TV with rabbit ears. And I remember when I looked at some early photos of the model home that we moved into in Elk Grove Village. It was the Mediterranean, and it was by Centex, and it was one of those areas where they had about 10 or 12 different homes, and you kind of go down the block, and there's your home again, but it's reversed the other way, and there's your home again over here.
Different shutters, different coloring.
Different shutters, different
but
colors.
Same layout.
One car garage on a slab, and I think we spent. I think it was
10
maybe,
years.
Maybe it was $18,000.
Oh,
Maybe it was less than that even. Might have been like $12,000.
No, 18.
18,000. Okay, all right. I have the actual blueprint of the home somewhere. $18,000, 3 bedroom, on a slab, 1 car garage. I guess 2 bathrooms. The kids kind of shared one in between the
Two
kitchen
bathrooms.
and the girls' room, and we had Vince and Michael in my bedroom, of course, the 2 boys, and then we had the 3 girls in the other one, and they had trundle beds in there. I remember Linda, Laura, and Lisa, and then you guys had the master, and I think we wound up getting an air conditioner for the window because when Grandma came to visit from Jersey, Grandma Rose,
She needed it.
She needed it because it was really hot. It was really hot. So that was the one room. Maybe was it your room or was it
Just grandmother's,
room?
just the girls' room where
just-
grandma
okay.
stayed.
Because that was a bigger room maybe for them. Yeah. So anyway,
Also,
what I remember was the photographs of Linda and Laurie standing across the little chain that was put up for the realtors to not have people go into the shower stall in the little bathrooms that we had. And we had a little picture of the little girls all dressed up with their little saddle shoes on and
All
their little
standing
outfits.
in it.
And it was just so cute that these little kids were like, looking forward to moving into a new modern era in this house. And this was probably, I don't know, 1959, 1960, something like that.
It was 1959 when you were born.
Moved in on 59. Yeah, that's right. And we were there 10 years before we moved to a colonial home in another part of Elk Grove Village. But
5-bedroom house.
But that's when I think of the 50s. I think of this retro new age sort of high tech, supposedly era. But you had the cars and the clothes and the music and all that stuff was like a new generation reborn to me. That's kind of why I wanted to be around then.
I wanted to butt in to say that bathroom had 2 doors.
Yeah.
One door that went in from probably the little kitchen area.
The kitchen,
and the
yeah.
other one to a bedroom. So you could be in there and somebody could walk right through.
Oh, and that's happened, right?
You could walk right through from that little
Yeah,
dining room
that's right.
area.
That's right.
Right through
It's
into
like
a bedroom.
like a little hallway there, yeah.
And it was a
If you didn't-
big joke.
I think I remember kids saying, "Close the door." That's right. Close the door.
Yeah.
So that way they wouldn't do that.
It was a walkthrough.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 1 car garage on a slab. Oh boy. And we went down there for fire drills and silly things like that. And yeah, I don't know. I think we had the dog down there at one
Oh,
time.
that was in the crawl space.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If we had a tornado alert, and we did, I threw a couple of boxes of cereal, and I poked you kids in there, got the dog Gina, put her in,
Put some,
and
like,
had a little cup of water, a little bowl, jug of water, and
Brought-
that's where we stayed.
brought some little containers of cereal in case we were in there for a while
Yeah.
or something, like we were camping out.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. So I also wanted to say that when I first heard that question, if you wanted to go back in time, I wanted to know if it was for a little bit of time and then I can come back to where I'm at now, or if I can pick where I would come back, in the future, like maybe doing something to like change the future a little bit, if I could. And if I could do that, I would probably like to go back to when my Grandpa Latone was around, and he would have been out in the Jersey Shore with a photo shop on the boardwalk, taking pictures for folks and doing weddings. And my dad would have been a little kid by then, and I would have reminded him that maybe he should not smoke so many of those non-filter Camels.
Yeah.
You can't be smoking those non-filter Camels forever and expect to live very long. So he died in his early 60s, which was when I was born, and that's why I'm named after him. So it was Michael James Latone. My dad was James Michael, and I was Michael James, because my grandfather was really sick at that time. And I wish that maybe I could have been around a little bit longer. That would have been nice. So I would have tried to hide those Camel non-filters, or get them on filters, or let them know that it wasn't really a good thing to do long term. But in those days, they didn't know those things. But, now we do. Anyway, the other thing I would have liked to do was to actually tell Dad to get a colonoscopy, for God's sakes. Because, if he would have done that in his 50s there, whatever, might have been avoided. All I remember is I came home from college to find out that Dad had
Stage
lost
4
30
cancer.
pounds, and he had colon cancer, and there wasn't much they're going to be able to do. And it lasted a year and a half, and it was terrible. And it didn't have to end that way. From what I understand now, colon cancer is the easiest thing to take care of as long as you have frequent colonoscopies, depending on your history. So I had my first one because of my dad, and then I had found polyps in mine, so that I had another one, and now I do it every 10 years. So we clean up all that area so that I don't have to worry about that. But when I hear about people that have like fourth stage colon cancer, I'm like, please tell me that you got a colonoscopy, please. And when they say no, I'm like, oh, not good. That's not good. It's totally avoidable. So I would also have to mention that when my older sister of 2 years went out to live in Las Vegas, because her friend went out there, and she was being real adventurous, because being at home as a medical transcriptionist was not something that I could see my sister Loretta do the rest of her life. It just, she was a little bit out of the box when she thought about things that she wanted to do with her life. And if she saw something she wanted to do, she did it. And that's what I really like about her. I really like that about her. So what did she do? She went to Vegas. She wound up becoming a blackjack dealer with a friend out there, and met a guy, and they were supposedly engaged. We were going to meet him that summer, and everything was looking great for Lori. And then I find out in 1982 that I get a phone call when I'm in college down there at SIU that they had a bike accident, and my sister Lori was killed. And it was just a terrible scenario where her and her fiance went out bike riding, and usually when the guy goes bike riding, he goes first, thinking that if something happens, it'll happen to him first, and then her second, or he could say, hey, watch out, or something. And what did they do? He went first, she went second, and the car lost control and swung around and hit both of them, but apparently it hit her a lot harder, and she went flying, and from what I could tell, she died instantly because of the impact. But anyway, I would have liked to have told her not to go out and test drive a car from somebody that gave you some keys in a bar or a lounge or whatever it was that night. I would say if you ever go bike riding in Vegas, go earlier in the day, don't go in the evening or something. Something just so that wouldn't have happened. If I could. And then I would like to, of course, been around for the rest of my life, that, I could share with my sister and with my father and with my grandfather, and things might have been a little different, but I don't know if that was the question. So I kind of stretched it out a little bit. If I went back, I would like to do those things, but I would like to be able to reap the benefits of those changes, that I've made in my life and the lives of others, if at all possible. Anyway, that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Okay, last week we talked about some of the awesome vacations that we went on, and some of the really kind of terrible vacations we went on. And if you guys have some comments on that, send it to our email, mikeandfranradio@gmail.com. I'd still like to hear about those stories. And I did want to mention something, that I used to be part of the Old St. Pat's youth group down there in Chicago. And I'm no longer invited to be in those groups because I'm not young anymore. well, they have sort of a cutoff, but anyway, I still know lots of people from Old St. Pat's that are wonderful people, and we went on a couple of trips to Europe with that group, and it was just so much fun. Now, Old St. Pat's is famous for the world's largest block party. And it's just West Loop there by Adams, by Greektown, and they would block off that area and have the world's largest block party. Mm-hmm. And I would usually work that event, and what I would do would be, you can draw beer and wine and stuff like that, but you can also sell raffle tickets. And if you sold raffle tickets, you could walk up to anybody and go, hey, who wants to go to Ireland? Yeah, you guys want to? And it was a great chance to just, open up some conversation with folks. What are these guys doing? Hey, those girls look pretty cute. Whatever. You go over there and go, who wants to go to Oregon? You got me brainwashed, Mom. I'm always thinking about going to Oregon.
Well, that's a good thought.
They're going to Ireland. So they gave away a trip to Ireland, and they gave away some cash prizes. And actually, there was one year that I volunteered, and I bought a raffle ticket, and I won a cash prize of, I think it was $4,000 that year. And that was just amazing. And they were giving away a year at, I think it was Presidential Towers over there. And it was always a great party to go to. And I'd see all my friends there. Or if I haven't seen them anywhere else, I would see them at that party. And then we used to also go to the St. Mike's party, St. Mike's block party too. And at that party, they would serve sangria, and they would have white and red. And so I used to go to the girls. I'm like, "Oh, hi, can I have a sangria?" I'm like, "Sure, white or red?" And they go, "White or red?" I had no idea. I had to decide. What do you mean white or red? I go, "Well, we have two kinds. We have white and we have red. They both have fruit. You're gonna love it." And I say, and we go, "Hey, John, look what she's wearing. She's wearing like a pink top or something like that." I would say white, right? What do you think? Because red's going to show up on that top. I would definitely say the white would be good for you. Oh, thanks. And then somebody had some stripes, and we go, I don't know. Might go red, but yeah, I'd go with the white, unless they were wearing something dark, and you wouldn't see it if they spilled it on themselves. So we were having all this silly fun, just saying, okay, white or red? And they're like, oh my God, I don't know. It's just insane. Anyway, all the beautiful people that live in Old Town came out for the St. Mike's block party every year, and then they go back to where they came from, and you never see them again. And that's just kind of how it was. Anyway, I got off on a little tangent here, but I did want to mention that with Old St. Pat's, we did go to France, and we did go to Italy, and they were fantastic trips. I've never been there before, and I couldn't have gone with a better group of people. We went to the Louvre, in Paris. In France, you see the Mona Lisa, the Arc de Triomphe, the Eiffel Tower. Now, didn't Grandpa have a picture in front of the Arc de Triomphe?
Yes, because after World War I, he went to the University of Nancy and played professional.
But that wasn't the
baseball.
actual real.
No, it was a smaller
There's
one.
more than one, so we didn't know that until later on.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a fantastic trip. I remember from Italy, the food. For breakfast, we'd have a hard roll, some cheese, and some capicola or some salami or something like that. That was their typical breakfast. I go, isn't that lunch? I go, no, that's breakfast. And we went to Venice. I bought some glassware from there. Had my birthday party over there, which was fantastic. And Bridge of Sighs, right? St. Mark's Square. And all the piazzas were just fantastic. So every corner you turned, there's like an area for people to sit outside, have something to eat and drink, and there's always some kind of a musical activity going on.
Somebody playing an accordion.
Always. St. Mark's Square was just fantastic. I would love to go back there someday. I mean, that was such a long time ago, but we had a great time. The Colosseum in Rome, oh my God. It was just very, very impressive. And I took tons of pictures. Leaning Tower of Pisa, I have some pictures from there. And you see the artifacts and things with all the famous saints. And wow, I need to look at that album again to remember that trip because it was just fantastic. So, Mom, you were telling me that you read a post on Facebook from one of our old neighbors, Cheryl Dugo? And what'd she say?
Well, she commented that it would be nice to go back to the old days when people were kinder.
Oh.
Well, I think people could be kinder, but I don't think the old days were as well represented as they could have been. Now you have the media.
Yeah.
Things happened in the old days that we didn't know about. Now you can't talk about one thing in the world without knowing about it.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's definitely true.
And I still would like to think that most people are kind.
We try to be kind.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people do, but you always hear about the people that are not, and that's kind of the problem. Yeah. Social media. Who needs it? Yeah.
We have a lot more people today.
We just have to learn how to live with it, I guess.
Yeah, larger population and that.
Okay, so we'll see you guys next week. We're running out of time here. Thanks for joining in, and take care of yourselves.
Yes, indeed. Hi, this is Fran, signing off for Mike and Fran. Do take good care of yourselves.
Goodbye. See y'all next
Bye.
week.